So, my dear and trusted friend, mon brave, I'm now to take it, then, that you have decided to give up your quest for trying to find a way of travelling into space, moving at 1,000,000 times the speed of Mach, as it were. Yes. Yes. After all that blather and wind and bluster that I've been listening to for weeks and weeks, you said to me that you were the last of the true Marxist Machists that Lenin would have had put to death or expelled. You've been blathering on about it for months and months, and now you just say, oh, yeah, I've given up. So, what other propulsion are you planning on using, then, to seemingly traverse through many a black hole? Well, I've come to the conclusion that the fragility, the feebleness of flesh, I don't think really would, after so much. We haven't got the materials to build any capsule to travel at sort of a, shall we say, 1,000,000 times the speed of sound and reach over the speed of light. Reasonably and realistically, we couldn't stand the distance or the speed, but I thought you said it was possible. It was going to be possible in not so distant future to travel that back and forth as a shuttle almost. No, it's not going to work. And anyway, I think it's better the way I've looked at it now, which is our sort of makeup molecules should really be firstly sort of 3D scanned, which is coming. It's almost there now, where we've scanned the brains, we've scanned the God knows what of chimpanzees. It'll not be long before we can actually scan every single cell in the human body with CAT scans and God knows what scans. And the 3D printing is getting so good that we can almost build ourselves back to. You're not thinking of actually somehow arranging us like grains of sand and then sort of adding, H2O and putting us back together like a pot noodle soup or something. We're not going to be some sort of packet people that you just add water and there we are. Well, sort of that, yeah. But we're going to grow them cell by cell, you see. Come to the conclusion that through this latest virology and stuff, it's a bit like the honeybee building a hive with these 3D printing machines. They move so fast now that you literally could build a life-size human in a few days from scratch and reconstruct them. Yes, but it's all pie in the sky. It's never going to really happen, is it? Well, it is if we use, viruses in a sense to reconstruct. Viruses? I don't know what you're talking about. To start from one cell as the body starts, and then, do bear in mind it takes 9 months. Well, in spatial time, on the cosmological clock, what's 9 months? It's like 9 nanoseconds. It's nothing anyway. The body will be up and running and function in no time at all on another planet. And this is what I'm talking about, that if we were to actually have it, our spermiation and cells frozen together, like a biogenerated meat packet, as it were, it could start the process wherever it landed. Right. So you've given up on going on with the... Well, no, I've not given up. I'm still working at that sort of thing, the Machist experiment, but it's proving a little difficult to, because transference at that speed, our feeble flesh would be, pot noodle and soup when we got there. I see. So transference of life to another galaxy, then, what are we on? So now it's what? Well, I think we'll do it through reverse panspermiation, meaning, well, we're proposing that sperm be frozen and transported similar to a bird's egg, totally frozen, in its own cocoon like a shell, and then with the necessary protein and carbohydrate, just like a bird's egg really, and amino acids to kickstart the process, and then go the reconstruction at the other side. An on-board biotech breeding machine, basically, ready to hatch on the brand new planet. Yes. In a sense, basically, just a cloning pack, really. Ready for life to begin on another planet, if the temperature be right. Similar to a flask, breeding reactor, come incubator here. If you get the temperature right, obviously, then the UV light will cook the chicken, as it were. All right. And you've thought about this creation of life on a distant planet, and that's what you're thinking then, a chicken and the egg the chicken. Mainly an embryo cloned capability, and based upon whose clone? What sort of clone? Well, me. You. Well, why would it be you? What? Well, why not? So, now I get it. I see, you're going to be cloned millions and millions of times. The God, yes. Yes, yes, and this is why you're changing religion so many times, isn't it? You've decided to become the ultimate, the self-obsessive, panspermiating clone of the whole universe. It replicates cloned Collins throughout space. Very good. Oh, God, you do take it, don't you? You take the biscuit, don't you? No, not at all, but, I'm a healthy, intelligent specimen that's more than most. I mean, my IQ is off the scale, and so why shouldn't it be, the sperm be taken from me? Oh, I see. So molecular cloning, nucleotide sequencing, and all this frozen from one egg certainly gives new meaning to what came first, the chicken or the egg. A galaxy of cloned Collins. You are totally self-obsessed, aren't you? You just are such a narcissist. Not at all. But why? If life is to be created, why shouldn't it be me? Of course. I mean, we've got 8.4 billion people to choose from on this planet, and why shouldn't the new virgin birth for the whole universe begin with your genetic code? Jesus. Literally. You'd be he, wouldn't you? The second coming that you've been talking about. This is why you've gone through all these different religions, isn't it? You can't just stay with one. Colin, Christ, and our cloned saviour. Oh, you are beautiful, aren't you? Why don't you just change your name to Christ? I mean, you've changed it to everything else. Why not? I don't understand why you're so opposed to start, panspermiation, creation of life. Why are you so obsessed that it shouldn't be me? You self-obsessed prick. You want to panspermiate the whole universe. You've tried to impregnate most of the women down here on the planet, so... and now you want to repopulate the universe with clones of Colin. Marvellous. Now I see it. The second coming of Christ. Colin the clone. May as well be me as anyone else. This is typical. You've basically reenacted the whole God aspect. Virgin birth, starman, saviour, human, creationist, civilization. Just to keep you going about space travel, isn't it? This is all the whole reason that you've been waffling for months about this. You've been planning in those little red books of yours, and God knows how much computerized data you've taken up. And when it comes to it, basically, it's your monstrous great ego, isn't it? You want to take over the depths of space, the entire depths of space, and inseminate an alien form, or every single alien form, with your sperm. God the Creator. You've at last become God. Self-obsession. Always you, isn't it? You never think of anything else. You wouldn't think of sending me, would you? I don't know why you're getting so heated at the collar. It's only a hypothetical situation at the moment. Thank heavens for that. How did you come to this spatial takeover plan with how did you get to this then? How could you not? Well, when I went to the sperm bank recently, sperm? You've been to a sperm bank? Yes, to give sperm. Oh, God. They mentioned that I have actually got twice as many sperm in one ejaculation than most, sometimes 3 times, than most normal human beings. Well, of course. Hence why you need the universe to spermiate the entire universe. That's why you need it, because you produce so many, many little swimmers, don't you? There's nothing to get worked up about. It's just because I have been, made by the greater God, as it were. Oh, I can't believe what I'm listening to. You truly believe that you're so superior that you may have been made by a greater God, that us mere mortals. It's amazing. Well, you won't need a genetic enhancement then, will you? Nothing. Now I'm ready to go. Nothing whatsoever. The perfect specimen, eh? Wow, how the hell do you figure that you've been... I mean, let's face it, you've been sectioned twice under the Mental Health Act. How could you be so perfect? No. My parents had me taken into care. After I left Oxford, I went to live in a cave in Spain, in Sacramento. And just started out with listening to flamenco and also being interested in, guitar, of course. I was learning the Spanish guitar. I was living on basically LSD and Spanish love. And when my sister came, she found me... Well, I'd been fasting on a diet. And, I'd fallen into what's known as an LSD coma. I was naked and I'd grown my hair to my feet. I'd really gone back to living commando in nature, you see, giving up on washing and everything. I wanted to feel similar to Jesus in the 40-day fast in the desert. And, I want to be at one with Mother Nature. And, they flew off the handle and thought I'd gone completely crazy, or the sister did. I mean, I hadn't. I was just living as Jesus in the desert, in a pair of sandals at first. Then I got rid of all my clothing and it was so hot anyway, and it was a virtual naturist reserve. I was trying to make it a naturist reserve. So basically, it was the Spanish that wanted rid of you, and your parents came. Well, I was all right. I was naked in a cave and stuff, and I'd been making myself a bit of a nuisance on the LSD. But I did most of the time have a loincloth on. A caveman from Christchurch. The University of Oxford would be so pleased, eh? And what was the second sectionable offence then? Well, it was self-induced psychotic behaviour due to... that 40-day starvation in the desert and fasting and feasting. I took stimulants to keep me alive, which sent me, it started with hallucinations and stuff. And, I went completely out of synaptic sync. Cuckoo, you mean? Not quite cuckoo, but, it was close. I needed to feel what it was like to have this 6-week starvation of Christ, the whole of Lent without giving up just a little water, I see. And then, it's like the standoff that Christ made against the devil's temptation while he was out there. I see. So you think they're suffering some sort of biblical bulimia. Well, it's not a biblical bulimia. Well, it sounds like it. But this, again, is just another cry and a seek for attention, isn't it? You've become this... For you to become this Nazarene narcissist, you're suffering from the God complex. Remember what Ernest Jones termed it? Character flaw. Autoerotic, overconfident, exhibitionist. You remember? I mean, you could have wrote the whole article. Mind over masturbation, as it were. Yeah. Now, this is why, when you did write about this subject, your divine masturbation, you were struck off most of the websites. Well, it wasn't that. Because I had... I had to have a psychosexual diversion, as it were, about this subject, self-mesmerization through masturbation. Yes. So your sexual, spiritual sentience, to overcome this starvation, you thought that you'd engage in divine masturbation non-stop, which you yourself, even on the websites, described it as a slow spiritual stroking of one's own stalk to overcome the temptation of the devil. Autoeroticism, again, taken to the extreme level. No. Divine diversion away from, so that you can transfix your pain into pleasure, so that you can mesmerize yourself away from the hunger with hypnosis, you see. I see. But I thought masturbation was some sort of sin in the good book, and no. Matthew clearly states that the adulterous thought is the sin, to covet one's close by, friends and stuff is the sin. The masturbation is not, This is why I took it to the extreme, and how I ended up with. Oh, I see, and how you ended up with a massively high sperm count, I see, at the fish farm. No, I'm just naturally high, of course. Nothing to do with masturbating for 3 days on end, or 40 days on end by the sounds of it. And, of course, in your, sperm, the IQ is obviously so enormous, and would be enormous, much more than anyone else, than any, for the greater God, yeah. You're beautiful, aren't you? And this is why, I'm thinking that if I put my swimmers forward into a space panspermiation project, then of course they're going to be far greater than anything else. Christ, you're serious, aren't you? Corpus Christi, the Holy Eucharist, and, well, of course, this is it, isn't it? My body will become the bread on the water, as it were, to feed the forthcoming fry. Good God. You selfish, shellfish. Gene. Shame you can't impregnate yourself, isn't it, with some parthenogenesis, and instead of panspermiation, then you could possibly even give birth, couldn't you? Oh, the universe. The cloning of Colin. I think it's gone far enough. Oh, I can't listen to this any longer. Goodbye.